Did you know hunting is a serious sport with real laws? You'd be surprised how many people don't take it as serious as it is. Hunting is just like driving. You have to go through a class and you have to take a test. I've been a hunter for about a decade now, and I would like to inform fellow hunters and the general public about some basic and common laws given to hunters. I will be referring to the Ohio Hunting and Trapping Regulation Handbook and the Ohio Revised Code. Three of the main laws that I will be going over is hunting with permission, poaching, and hunting within designated hours. Now I will begin to explain the first and most important law. Quoting the Ohio Hunting and Trapping Regulation Handbook, quote, "A person must carry written permission at all times while engaging in hunting or trapping on private land, and exhibit upon request to a state wildlife officer, sheriff, deputy sheriff, police officer, other law enforcement officer, owner of the land, or landowner's authorized agent." This means you have to go out and physically meet the landowner. To do this, you go and meet the landowner and you present a permission slip. A permission slip is a piece of paper that gives a little bit of information about you. It gives your hunting license number, your signature, your vehicle information, your contact information, and also the signature of the landowner. This is an example of Ohio's permission slip. Okay, going back to quoting the handbook, if you are caught hunting without written permission, your first offense, you may be fined $500 or subject to 60 days in jail. Trespassing, or hunting without permission, can also be considered poaching. Poaching is against the law and extremely unethical. An example of poaching could possibly be killing animals outside of their designated season. Most animals have a certain time of year or season that you're allowed to hunt. Most seasons fall at the beginning of fall all the way to mid-winter, which is usually, depending on the year, the beginning of February to mid-February. Another form of poaching is killing more animals than you're allowed. You're given a daily bag limit and a seasonal bag limit. Depending on what animals you're hunting is the amount of animals you're allowed to kill. And if you go over this, you're subject to the 60 days in prison or the fine again. This is a picture of a wildlife officer, also known as a game warden, with a beautiful poached buck. The caption says the controversial fines, or restitution as the Ohio DNR calls them, have reached almost $28,000 in some cases, which just means is if you poach, your fine could possibly be up to $28,000. Okay, trespassing and poaching are serious laws given to outdoors people to ensure their safety and fairness to themselves and other outdoors people. Another important law given to outdoors people is hunting within designated hours. Hunting season gives you designated hours to hunt during the day. Most of those fall between a half hour before sunrise until half hour after sunset. If you get a hunting regulation handbook, those usually have a sunrise and sunset table. There's no specific time for each day because of the daylight savings time. Some exceptions of these daytime designated times are raccoons and coyotes. Because coyotes are such a big nuisance, you're allowed to hunt those any time of the day, any time of the year, anytime you want. Raccoons, they have a designated season, but you're usually allowed to hunt those any time of day except for the 7 days during deer gun season, which then you're allowed to hunt those a half hour after sunset to a half hour before sunrise. Here are examples of the sunrise-sunset tables. Ohio, they divide it into two, Western Ohio and Eastern Ohio. It gives you the month, the day, and then the time of day in which the sun rises and sunsets. Another reason why this law is imposed is because of the lack of light. Sometimes it's hard to see what you're shooting at and what is actually coming towards you, and you never know. So that's why they give that law of if you can't see anything, you have to be out of the woods. Another reason why they have this issue is because of the lack of light. You may lose your bearings and get lost easily. I hope this information gets you interested in getting out into the woods, and I hope you take it a little more serious than what you would beforehand. A little bit of a recap. First, you have to get written permission from the landowner. Second, poaching is illegal and comes in many different forms. And third, there are designated hours in which you can hunt. Depending on what you're hunting and possibly where you're hunting, the handbook will give you that information. Hunting is very serious, and like I said, I hope to see you out in the woods. I hope to legally see you out in the woods. Thank you.